KMOX. And they'll be talking Redbirds baseball with you. But I got Tom Ackerman with me today, who's joining me really most of the week. You know, you'll be here, what?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Buddy, it's great to be with you. Boy, look at this weather. Man, oh, man,
I know,
let's
right?
go. Let's go. Baseball weather.
This is spring baseball weather.
Yeah.
We are going to, on Friday, now opening day, it's still going to be nice, 60s. So it's a perfect opening day temperature. I believe it's supposed to be sunny for opening day. I'll go back and check in a moment. But it's going to be like 80 degrees on Friday, of course, when there's an off day. But it'll still be 80. We're going to get that summer weather very, very soon.
It's going to be awesome. It's baseball weather. And look, we're going to pick this team apart, okay? I got it. You know, fans are still a lot of them are upset and all that stuff. And we're going to go through it all. And I know that not everybody's enamored with the 2025 St. Louis Cardinals, but I will say there are some reasons to feel positive about them. There are some things that we'll pick apart. But the one thing we can't argue is we became baseball fans for a reason. And I do think it's because it's an outdoor sport, because you get to sit outside with your friends in the sun and eat hot dogs and drink beer and all that good stuff. And we're going to get to do all that again. So that's exciting. And we welcome in Bernie Miklasz to the program as well. He is joining us, as he will on many of these shows.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
In fact, I think on Thursday, it's just Bernie and me.
What's going on, big dog?
Doing well. I'm sorry I'm a tad late. I was, the challenges of technology in the modern world sometimes win the battle against me.
You were literally 1 minute and 20 seconds late. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, come on. You know, Victor Scott could get around the bases a few times on that timing, though. I'm excited about this lineup. I want to get into that with you and Ranj. I actually am. I actually think this lineup has a chance. And the pitching staff yesterday, but I know we're going to get into a lot of things today, Chris, and we'll have the full hour today, Ranj, with Bernie.
We are going to have the full hour with Bernie today, and you're welcome to give us your thoughts as well, 314-436-7900. Go ahead and drop us a text message if you want to. We also really want to make use of the voice message feature on the Odyssey app, so if you're listening to us directly on that app, there is right next to the Listen Live button, there is one that says send a message. If you click on that, you can record something and send it to us. We'd love to hear those messages as well. So I know that now that all the exhibition baseball is over, as of yesterday, the Cardinals played against Memphis, so that wraps things up there. And now it's time for the regular season, which will happen on Thursday afternoon. And I guess we'll start here with Bernie, looking back again at the roster as constructed. And yeah, we're going to go through some of these spots on the roster and maybe a little more in depth. We didn't get to do all of that yesterday, but just a general overview of what this roster looks like. And we kind of knew going into it that it wasn't, that this wasn't an addition year. This was not a year in which the Cardinals were going to add to the roster. We knew that. I wouldn't call it a complete rebuild. It's not that either. But as you look at the roster, what does it say to you, Bernie, about what this team is supposed to be and what they really think it is?
Well, it's a good question, and it's not a simple black or white answer. There's some nuance to it because, we've talked a lot about how the Cardinals really didn't have the reset season, at least not the way that it was explained to us at the beginning of the offseason. But that said, if you look at guys that'll be in their lineup a lot, guys that'll be regulars or close to it, I mean, they have 5 hitters in a lineup that are under 25 years old. And if you add Nootbaar and you add Burleson, you add the backup catcher Pedro Pages, that's 8 players. And if you take their ages and average them out, that's 8 players with an average of like just under 25 years old. So, I mean, we're basically talking about the guys they'll be using the most. That's a very young lineup. So in that respect, it was a reset. It's a reset with the same guys, but they did get younger, hoping that they'll get better results from the younger guys who were younger last year, a little older this year, and a little more experienced this year. What will they do with that? And then I thought, committing to Palante in the rotation, but especially Matthew Liberatore, I thought that was a sign of progress as well. So, I'm intrigued by this team. That's the best way for me to put it. I'm intrigued by it. I think there's some interesting things about it. I really do.
I am too, and I'm intrigued with some of the depth in Memphis. Can I just say, looking at the Memphis lineup yesterday in the box score and the performance, I love the fact that Matt Koperniak went 4 for 4. I love that. This guy is a hitter. He didn't say this. He doesn't say anything, really. He doesn't really talk. But I'm saying it. Matt Koperniak says, you want to put Michael Ciani on this team over me? All right. I'll go 4 for 4 in the exhibition against the Cardinals. How do you like that in Memphis? That guy can hit, and I'm excited to see him eventually with this club. But the lineup itself, I kind of like it. I mean, Lars Nootbaar leads off. Now, when Mason Wynn was injured, he had a brief period where he hurt his wrist. They put Nootbaar at leadoff, Bernie, and I think that's the right move. He has the high on-base percentage, and he certainly feels comfortable up there, and he had a really nice spring. And after that, they go Contreras, Donovan, Arenado. Arenado blasts a home run. Nootbaar goes nuts in the dugout and is flapping his arms like, a cardinal. They should make a gif of that. Burleson at DH over Gorman, I like. Walker after Herrera. So Herrera was catching. I'm not sure that happens Thursday. I think Pajes is going to catch Gray, but we'll see. Herrera caught, and he's the better hitter. Jordan after him. Then Victor Scott goes 2 for 3. And then Mason Wynn. And Bernie, what kind of intrigues me there is the fact that not only is Wynn hitting 9th, but Scott's hitting 8th. So they're coming at you with a couple of speedsters leading into the top of the order.
Well, first of all, I love the Nootbaar move at leadoff. It's something I've advocated for because in 2023, he had over 300 plate appearances as the Cardinals leadoff hitter, and he was very, very good in the role. I mean, he had a high on-base percentage. He drew a lot of walks. He hit with some power. He gets on base. I mean, to me, I'm never one of these people that now thinks, your leadoff guy's got to be Lou Brock and steal, 80 bases, or Vince Coleman and score, steal 100. The game's changed. The name of the game is getting on base, and Nootbaar can run. So I like what Ali Marmol did. That he had to get away from Mason Wynn at the leadoff spot because it made no sense given his poor on base skills. But what I like about the top 3 spots here, all 3 guys, Nootbaar, Contreras, and Donovan, have a history of high on base percentages. And Donovan, if he bats third against right-handed pitchers, I wouldn't expect him to bat third against left-handed pitchers. Sorry. Brendan Donovan's got a career 430 slugging percentage against right-handed pitching. So he has power there. So their top 3 guys against right-handed pitchers have the high on base percentage you're looking for and the power that you're looking for. And as far as Scott and Wynn, I love that. First of all, Wynn was dynamic last year when he hit down towards the bottom of the lineup. Victor Scott is an up-and-coming player with a lot of talent. But what I like about it, Tom and Ronj, I like this part about it. They're both fast. Scott batting 8th makes sense because if you have Wynn batting 9th and Scott's on base, it opens up a lot of things. Mason Wynn hits the ball the opposite field a lot. That'll give manager Marmol more chances for hit and runs, things like that. And if both of those guys can get on base towards the bottom of the lineup rolls over to the top of the lineup where you have those guys right away with the ability to get on base and the power. So I really like the flow of the lineup. And if I didn't, I would be critical, but I really like this.
Do we think, and I'm still skeptical of it just because of the way things went last year, and I think that's totally reasonable. They didn't really hit very well. A lot of this is going to depend on Arenado, and I don't think we're going to expect him to go back to that 900 plus OPS guy. I don't know that that's him anymore. Maybe he gets closer to 800. Maybe he's around there, maybe a little bit above that. But if he's not producing, that means everybody else is going to have to pick up that slack. So, I mean, for me, I like it from the perspective of let's let some of these younger guys play and see what they can do. But in terms of runs scored by the end of the year, I'm feeling pretty skeptical about it. Am I wrong to see it that way?
Tom?
Well, first of all, did you see the comment that just popped up from the real third man one? Koperniak would not benefit by getting 100 bats. Yeah, I understand that. Okay, we all get that. That doesn't mean Koperniak didn't want to be up in the big leagues. Thanks for teaching us about what would be best for the Cardinals. Thanks. No, my point is that eventually when he does come up,
You're
I
getting too
am.
sarcastic.
I'm getting all upset now.
Yeah.
My point is, when he eventually comes up, he's going to be ripping it. Okay, when he plays in a regular role in the outfield, which will happen at some point, it's going to happen. You're going to see Matt Koperniak playing regularly in the outfield. Someone's going to get hurt, or next year, perhaps they make a move or whatever. Anyway, going back to your point, yes, both of you, and especially Ron, what you just said. Bernie, I'll let you riff off of this. If the Cardinals, if we're basing this on how they performed offensively last year, they're going to be bad again. We're hoping is that the Cardinals improve. You know who the leading home run hitter on this team was last year? Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
All right. Paul Goldschmidt. So, and he had a really bad year. The returning leading home run hitter on this team is Alec Burleson with 21. If that is going to be the power leader on the team, they've got a real problem. 21 will not cut it. They've got to find power sources up and down this lineup. They have to have Arenado. It's not going to work if Arenado isn't better, if Contreras doesn't hit in the 25 to 30 range, if Gorman doesn't provide some pop wherever they put him. And as Bernie just said, if people like Donovan, maybe even Nootbaar, find a charge in their bat, and maybe even Mason Wynn, who has some power potential, and of course, Jordan Walker, Ivan Herrera. There's a lot of ifs here, but there's a lot of potential with some younger players to contribute from a power standpoint, Bernie.
With Arenado, my optimism is realistic. It's reasonable because, as Ron, as you said, he's not going to be the 2022 guy. Those days are gone. But I think with improved bat speed and from what we've seen, his bat speed does seem a little quicker, and he worked on that all off season. And also the fact that I think maybe he was hurting a little more than he let on last year. You know, he slugged 394. I don't expect him to slug 500, but I've seen some projections out of some models that I respect that have him slugging, 425, 430, things like that. And I've seen projections that have him improving anywhere from like 12 to 15% in terms of overall quality of offense. I don't think that stuff is out of reach. I think that stuff is plausible. So we'll just have to wait and see. One of the big things, and I can talk more about this and just put it out there first, but you know what'll make a huge difference with the Cardinals in 2025 with the same cast, largely the same cast. They were the worst. They were the worst team the Cardinals have ever had in terms of batting average during the expansion era, which began in 1961. The Cardinals' 229 average with runners in scoring position was the worst during the expansion era last year. And listen, when you're going to hit that low, that abnormally low, you're going to have an awful offense. So if they can even just be average when hitting with runners in scoring possession, a lot of more runs will be coming across the plate. I mean, that's just the sort of the law of baseball, the law of the nature in terms of baseball.
Yeah, you're just hoping there's a correction. And even if there's a little bit of a correction, it moves them out of the bottom tier of MLB. And as you mentioned, batting average, not good. They were lower tier when it came. And I don't want to get too in the weeds on the advanced metrics, but they're isolated power numbers, which give you a pretty good idea of home runs, extra base hits, that kind of thing. Pretty low in that too. So you're just hoping for a small correction, and maybe that will make a big difference. I guess we'll find out.
If I could, I'm sorry, man. I got a little bit of echo, so I don't know. Sometimes I jump in too soon. My apologies. And this is really quick. Stat Boy's got one here. That's me. Here are the three lowest batting averages of runners in scoring position during the expansion era by the Cardinals. The 1986 Redbirds had a 237 average with runners in scoring position, and they were last in the National League in runs. The 1966 Cardinals had a 232 RSP average. They were last in the National League in runs. The Cardinals last year hit 229. They ranked 12th among the 15 teams in the National League in runs scored. So there is an obvious, direct, blatant correlation between your ability to drive in runs when runners are on base and in position to score. And if you stink at that, your offense will stink.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang. And of course, we want to hear from you. Send us a voice message from the Odyssey app. You can send us a message on the chat if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. The Gashouse Gang continues talking Cards baseball after this.
Discover true luxury at Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership, Genesis of St. Charles. Thank you for making us the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2024. True luxury isn't just built, it's engineered with precision and passion. Explore amazing cutting-edge technology, redefined elegance, and exhilarating performance in the new 25 GV80. A new level of luxury awaits you at Genesis of St. Charles. Visit us in-store or shop genesisofstcharles.com. Based on GMA sales records.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B, in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So, if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
St. Louis, the wait is over. Your Battlehawks return home on Sunday, April 6th. Get your tickets now at UFLBattlehawks.com and go full battle rattle. The St. Louis Battlehawks home opener, Sunday, April 6th. All tickets available at UFLBattlehawks.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Tom Ackerman, Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, all here in our doomsday bunker at the Gashouse Gang. We bring the show to you every weekday from 12 until 1 o'clock. Bernie Miklasz is with us, and he's brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. So, guys, we were talking about the lineup, and a lot of people do have thoughts about this. And here's a text message, or not a text, but this is a message from YouTube, and it says that we should give Gorman the Trey Turner treatment, a standing ovation until he goes on a tear.
I actually love that.
I like the idea of it. How many at-bats do we really think we're looking at as far as Gorman goes this year?
I think it's a tough way to come up with a number. I mean, you definitely want to get 400. And it's going to be hard because he's not a regular, but you're going to plug him in at DH and second base for sure. And I think he's the number one fill-in for Arenado at third. Bernie, what do you think? Nolan Gorman, number of at-bats. I mean, my ballpark would be, I think they want to get him 400, I mean, you got to get him as many as possible if you can. And the caller or the listener that commented said they should give him the Trey Turner treatment, give him a standing ovation until he goes on a tear. I actually think
why not?
It's fun.
It's
Cardinals
fun.
fans
Let's do some fun stuff. Why
Cardinals
not?
fans actually do have an effect on play. Believe it or not, they do feel that. And they feel that in other ballparks too. So when they go on the road and they feel the energy, they want that in their own ballpark. There was a time where the Cardinals had one of the more intimidating home atmospheres in baseball.
That is, you are not wrong on that. Players all the time talk about what a crowd does for them, and maybe it's all psychological, but it does help.
Yeah. Back to Nolan Gorman. What do you think, Bernie, about his year coming up?
Well, one of the things is I have to fess up to something, right? I thought all along, because of the fact that Nolan Arenado's still here, and of course that means Gorman won't play third base, that once they made the decision to go Nootbaar in left and Scott in center, it means not as much Brendan Donovan in left field, but a lot more Brendan Donovan in second base. So it comes down to a situation against right-handed pitchers because of the way this thing just fell into place, the domino effect. Against right-handed pitchers, it comes down basically to a decision whether you use Gorman or Burleson at DH. It's one or the other on most days against right-handers, unless Gorman's playing second. Well, I thought all along that maybe Gorman would be the priority. He would sort of have preferred status, only because of John Mozeliak talking about 550 plate appearances, 500 plate appearances. I thought that, right from the get-go, they're going to plug Gorman in and let him go. And Burleson would play a lot. But I thought of the two, maybe it was going to be Gorman utilized more than Burleson. If this early lineup means anything, it might be the other way around. It might be more Burleson and less Gorman. Not that Gorman's going to sit on the bench and watch, but I'm just saying maybe Burleson gets more of a priority status than Gorman. What do you guys think?
Well, let me throw in another name just for discussion purposes who won't be on this team yet, and that's Thomas Saggese. So my buddy, the real third man one, who commented on Koperniak, says to me, don't be offended, I wasn't talking to you. I was addressing those who insist that Koperniak should be playing in Siani's role. I totally get that now. And he said, if I replace Siani, I would have done it with Thomas Saggese. He says there are 350 plus at-bats available for him. There are enough at-bats for everyone. I can lay it out for you. He says, in fact, I have several times. I don't see that, Bernie, myself. Saggese having that many opportunities. I think once Arenado was not traded, that kind of knocked him back to Memphis. Did you see a scenario where they could have added Saggese over Siani and over, let's say, Fermin or Barrero?
Well, in a natural world order, yeah, but we all know that Ali Marmol is adamant about in his belief they need Siani for his outfield defense. And if we were to be perfectly frank here, it's because they're still very much worried about Jordan Walker's defense in right field. And Siani he does a couple things well. I mean, he covers tremendous amount of ground. He's like one of those Frisbee dogs you see in the football stadiums. He covers a tremendous amount of ground in the outfield, and he runs very, very well, and he plays good small ball bunts and everything. But I think that they just think they need to have Siani as kind of a late inning defensive replacement and someone who, at times maybe Ali Marmol would be aggressive about removing Jordan from the game earlier for defensive reasons. I don't know. And I don't know that that's the way to go. See, this thing could go in so many different directions. And that's why I think it's such an intriguing team. The roster's intriguing. I didn't say necessarily exciting, but there are so many ways they can put this lineup together, and some of the decisions that Ali will be making with regards to Gorman and Walker, if they're struggling. How long do you go with them as like everyday guys if we're heading into June and they're both struggling mightily? That's just a question I think that's out there. I hope that there's no need for that question to surface. But there could be a lot going on here over the first couple months.
Bernie Miklas, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji. It is the Gashouse Gang. Again, check in with us via text, 314-436-7900. You can call that same number, too. Also, if you want to leave us a message on YouTube or Facebook, you can do that as well. The Gashouse Gang, every weekday, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 on 104.1 FM KMOX.
St. Louis, your drive home just got a whole lot better. Introducing Redbird Rush Hour, weeknights at 5. Get the latest local news, up-to-the-minute traffic, and exclusive St. Louis Cardinals insights, all in one power-packed hour. Whether you're stuck in traffic or cruising home, stay informed and stay connected to your city and your team. The Redbird Rush Hour, weeknights at 5 on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hello, Stacy again from Fairwinds Rivers Edge Senior Living, telling you about our spring special. Move by the end of April and get a great discount off 3 months rent. Not ready to move? No better time than the present to start planning. Come experience the environment at our 50s Sock Hop featuring Trilogy on Thursday, April 17th. RSVP to 636-754-2317 or visit us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-587-1272. That's 800-587-1272. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1272. That's 800-587-1272 today.
It is 60 degrees and partly cloudy in St. Louis, approaching the high of 64. Weather brought to you by Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Sell your home with trust, confidence, and written guarantees. Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty is St. Louis's real estate expert. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
KMOX Cakes and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is back at Cardinals Nation Restaurant in Ballpark Village, Thursday, March 27th from 11 till 2. It'll feature a live KMOX broadcast, a brunch buffet, draft beer from Anheuser-Busch products, and select mixed drinks. All-inclusive single tickets and tables on sale now. Celebrate this unofficial holiday with KMOX, Budweiser, Overhead Door Company, St. Louis Composting, Rally House, and Dirt Cheap. Get your tickets now at KMOX.com/events.
I can understand why we keep putting up with Gorman's low performance. There's other people betting better than him.
That's a voice message from Gary, who left it on the Odyssey app. And we've been talking about Nolan Gorman and what sort of ABs he's going to get this year. My perspective on it, Tom Ackerman, Bernie Miklas, I'm Chris Ranji with these fellas, is that if they believe he's going to be a part of their future, the more at-bats he gets to help them figure that out, the better. So it's not necessarily based on what he's done. It's about trying to figure out what he can be for them. And the only way to do that is to give him a lot of at bats. So if they assume, guys, and I'd like to hear from both of you, Bernie, we can start there. That's the whole point, right? Isn't the whole point of attempting to trade Arenado is so they could figure out if Nolan Gorman can play every day?
Well, yeah, and it's a big year for him, but I also, with all due respect, I differ from those, and we heard from a gentleman like that, and I thank you very much for leaving a voicemail. Thank you very much, but I kind of think this idea maybe of pulling the plug on Gorman already is way premature. I mean, in 2023, which is not 2013, it's 2 years ago, the guy slugged 478. He hit 27 home runs, and that was his second major league season. And I was looking at some stuff on this. He was one of he was like a top 15 left-handed hitter in the National League a couple years ago in terms of slugging percentage. And if you go back to the start of last season, up until the first week of June, his numbers were incredible. So do we value our judgments based on all of 23 and the first 2.5 months of 24? And then the rest of 24 was terrible. But the fact that he was going really, really, really good there for a while, do you give up on him because, in effect, he didn't hit from late June until the end of the season last year? I just think that's, and for his career, he's technically an above average hitter as far as, OPS plus, things like that. So no, I understand the frustration with Gorman, but people carry on as if like he's been doing this for 7 years or something.
Yeah, it's very young. Sure. I like to look sometimes also at what the schedule shows early and what kind of ballparks will the Cardinals be playing in, and just kind of zeroing in on Gorman. The number one home run hitting ballpark is Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Kind of strange, though, that Gorman, it's not one of his better parks. He hits 184 there with a couple of bombs. Actually, wait, he's got 2 home runs there. But, he does hit very well at PNC Park. He hits really well at Nationals Park. The Cardinals are going to be visiting PNC early in April, and they'll be in Washington the second weekend of May. On the upside, the Cardinals do play 4 games in Cincinnati at the end of April, so perhaps they catch their stride, and that's a park where they can really rake. I think the Mets, typically that's a home run park there. And then the other one, of course, is Philadelphia in the middle of May. But when I start to look at this thing, Busch Stadium is not a home run park. Fenway last year was not. PNC overall was not. Atlanta was not. So it's interesting. I think the Cardinals won't be in many home run friendly parks right away. And I think for the most part, and the numbers don't bear this out, I'd have to really look it over, but the Cardinals don't seem to hit very well early in the season. I mean, I feel like, Bernie, every single season that we've covered this team, we're like, well, it's cold out, or, well, the weather's got to warm up, or it's pitcher's game right now, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and no doubt about it. And I want to throw one more thing in about Gorman because I couldn't find the number. In 2023, again, we're talking about a young hitter. Among left-handed hitters in the National League that season, he was 6th in home runs and 7th in slugging percentage. And I have to repeat, his slugging percentage last year up until June 4th was like 530 or 540. He went off a cliff after that. So I get it. But is there no recognition of the fact that, yeah, he's definitely streaky, but when he's on, he's really, really a pretty imposing presence in the lineup against right-handed pitching? I think people just remember the kind of the last thing they saw, and that forms their judgment. I'm not a Gorman apologist, but I am a Gorman realist. When they drafted him, we knew that his slugging percentage and his home runs, as long as he was doing enough of that, then that he was going to strike out a lot, but the strikeouts were a worthy trade-off. But that fell apart, over the final, 3+ months of last season. So But I'm not ready to, all of a sudden, he's 24 years old. My goodness. But to your point, yeah, the Cardinals, I don't know. Is it because they get off to a cold start, or is it or is it just because they're not good?
Yeah, I know.
It's always that. It's. I'm not laughing at you, my friend. I'm just saying.
I know, but even in their good years, I felt like they got off to remember Goldschmidt would get off to cold starts, and people were like, "Man, this guy might be a bust." And then he goes on and wins the MVP. Samuel Howell already commented, Tom's researching potential Gorman trading sites already. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm looking at the first 6 weeks of the season. I agree. I think that the Cardinals have already been down this road. And if you were to bench or trade Nolan Gorman, all he's going to do is go somewhere else and hit 40 home runs for somebody. It's going to happen. I do not look forward to that, and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, there's another comment.
They have a new hitting coach. Can we give the new hitting coach, I don't know, more than 10 minutes to maybe get Gorman straightened out?
And I know Samuel's joking, by the way. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Jake sends in a message on YouTube. Nolan Gorman is one of the few players in the organization with 30 to 40 home run potential. Burleson, we can guess he can be a 20 to 25 home run guy with runway. And I think for Gorman, it's kind of what Bernie was talking about. I don't know what he's going to end up being. I really don't. I do see potential there. Yes, I know he's streaky. Yes, I know he's going to give you the 3 for 4 day and a home run or two. And then he'll go maybe 3 or 4 days and he's over. I know that's going to happen, but the only way for some players like that to get past that is to get regular at bats, to play every day. And we're still talking about somebody who's not yet 25, right? So he will turn 25 in the middle of the season, but we're still talking about somebody who has relatively low amount of professional experience. So, I mean, that's why, and I know we keep revisiting this and I keep bringing it up, and I need to get past it, and I will. Trust me, I'll get past it. But it is a shame that for his development or them figuring out their young team moving forward, that they weren't able to make that extra move during the offseason. Because I want to see him get those consistent at-bats and see what he can do with it.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be an interesting ride with Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker this year. It really is. There's going to be turbulence. But if this is a runway season, if the Cardinals are true to that, they'll allow those hitters to work through the turbulence and come out of it, the chance of it, because before you can become a good major league hitter, right? You're a young guy. Pitchers find your weakness. They found weaknesses with Gorman last year. High fastballs, couldn't do anything with them. Jordan Walker, sinkers, low and away pitches out of the strike zone. They found their weaknesses and they pounded those weaknesses over and over again. Well, the only way a Walker or a Gorman is ever going to conquer that is when the turbulence is there and they're just getting all thrown around and their confidence is eroding. The only way they'll ever amount to anything is if you give them a chance to fight through it. So, pardon me for being negative. I don't see the Cardinals as a World Series contender this season. I don't think they're quite there with the Dodgers yet. Maybe they're a few games worse than the Dodgers. Pardon my sarcasm. This is the kind of year where you're supposed to let guys like Gorman and Walker struggle through their trials, struggle through their downtime, struggle through their loss of confidence. Because if you give up on them or reduce them now, Tom Ackerman, as usual, is right. They're going to wind up somewhere else. And then the same people that want to give up on them now will be the first to get on social media or get onto a voicemail line, and they'll be screaming at the Cardinals how stupid they were to trade them.
Thank you for that. I thought that Andy Bennis put it really well on his Twitter X account. He said, ultimately, Cards not good enough to win and not awful enough to have major reset. Serious limbo. Toughest place to be for an organization and really hard on the fan base. So I feel the pain and frustration as a lifelong Cards fan, but just have to enjoy watching youth develop. Bernie, you couldn't say it better, really, for a guy who is as well respected as any Cardinal, Andy Bennis.
No, I thought I saw. Was it you, Tom? You or Matt Pauley or Wheels?
Yeah.
They put that on our text chain last night, or last afternoon. I thought, that was perfectly said. I can't. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to use his name. I'm going to be referencing that a lot this season, especially early on. It was great.
Yeah, and I think it's, for us to talk about it, but for somebody of his stature, someone that was so well respected by Tony La Russa and still is by this front office, and a very well respected Cardinals alum, to step up and say something as a fan, which he is, to all of the fans, I thought was really important and was good perspective to have.
Yeah, and I always appreciate it. A lot of times you have former players who don't want to do that. They don't either feel comfortable doing it or they feel like they're stepping on toes. But it was nice to get that's a real take from him. And he, he meant it, and he is speaking from the heart on that. And I think all of us agree with him there. Tom Ackerman, Bernie Miklas, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang. And Bernie, as we go to break, tell everyone about our friends at Saliga.
I appreciate that. I'm always proud to talk about Saliga Heating and Cooling. First of all, they've been serving St. Louis families since 1927, continuously. I mean, Saliga has been in charge of the family business since 1927. Dan Saliga doing a great job as the caretaker, as the leader of Saliga Heating and Cooling now. It's an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. They do residential work. They do commercial work. They can fix all kinds of problems that aren't necessarily heating and cooling. Like, for example, they can improve your indoor air quality. There's a long list of services they offer. Go to SaligaHeatingCooling.com to see that. We're in the Priority Club. It's a maintenance program. The Miklases would highly recommend it as Saliga clients for a long time because the maintenance program will extend the life of the equipment you have. A couple maintenance checks a year will do that. They can catch a real little teeny problem before it becomes something expensive. And just by the normal maintenance, they keep your equipment running very well. So you got the peace of mind, the comfort. You're also saving money by extending the life of your equipment. So once again, the integrity is great. They're never going to try to hustle you. I mean, they're professional, they're knowledgeable, and they'll try to save you money if they can when they come to your home to repair something. If you want to see more information on all of this, go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. The phone number's there.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Doctor, tell us a little something about the history of the Audiology Center.
At the Audiology Center, we care about our patients. They are like our family. For us, we want everyone to feel comfortable and confident in their choice to work with us. We ensure best practices for our patients, which include real ear measurements and testing to ensure the best possible outcomes for everyone with their hearing aids. Dr. Fon started the Audiology Center in 1982, and I purchased the practice in 2017. Dr. Adam Voss joined us about a year ago, and we all want to use our educational backgrounds and our passion for hearing care to help everyone reconnect to their loved ones. We have been around for 43 years, and we want to earn your trust in your hearing care needs. We have 3 locations. Call us at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples. I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-587-1272. That's 800-587-1272. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1272. That's 800-587-1272 today.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 1041 FM, KMOX.
Everything in spring training, I know it's hard to look at sometimes, but I've been there, and it's tough for all of us. We want to do good. We want to get in a good rhythm. Sometimes we cannot do it, but once those lights are on, a lot of them just turn it on, and they just keep going good, after that.
That's Benji Molina visiting with us on the Chris and Amy show prior to this one. This is the Gashouse Gang from noon until 1 every weekday here on 1041 FM KMOX. Tom Ackerman and Bernie Miklas with me, Chris Ranji, today. And that was the question because we were talking about, and I believe the question directly to him was about Sonny Gray, who did not have a particularly good spring training, but he is a veteran. And he's somebody who's been around, knows how to do it, and how you determine whether or not what you're seeing is just spring training, no big deal, or if it means that maybe there are some signs where we could be headed toward a problem. And that was the question. Bernie, as you see it, which do you think it is?
I don't know, because I've seen examples on both sides. I've seen spring trainings where a hitter or pitcher look futile. And then the regular season opens and wow, it's like, okay, yeah, that's still the guy. I've seen situations where someone looks like one of the greatest players in the history of the game for a month in Jupiter and then can't do anything once the regular season starts. See, the thing of it is, we're 2 days from now, there's going to be a real baseball game. So once the real baseball games start, whatever things we're trying to figure out, does the spring training stats, good or bad, matter? Does this spring training Florida this, Grapefruit League that, does that matter? It's irrelevant now. The real baseball's here. There's no more practice games. So this is when the answers start to come in. And this is where we will clear our minds and we will start to make judgments based on real baseball. And by the way, 2 weeks is not enough time to make conclusions either. The beauty of baseball takes a while to play out till you find out who you really are, what your team really is.
Yeah.
And I think that's always my attitude going into the season.
Flag Day, as our friend Mike Claiborne often tells us, is the benchmark. But yeah, I think about Sonny Gray and the spring training he's had, and he said spring training is weird. That one game where he had just weird stuff happen to him. He gave up 8 runs on 6 hits. Walked 5, and the defense was really bad behind him. It was like a parade. There was one where Herrera made a play. He couldn't catch a Ciani throw in right. They gave the error to Ciani for some reason. The ball gets by Herrera, and all 3 runs come in and score. And, it was just one of those spring training debacles behind Gray. But the thing that concerns me is the stuff that is tangible, which is his fastball is not there. So if the fastball is not there, for some reason in week 2 or week 3, it might not be there Thursday. I don't think you can recover that fast and get to 94 again. If it's not there, Bernie, then he's going to have to just go to good old Sonny Gray pitch maker and figure it out. Some of these guys, Yeah, Adam Wainwright could do it. I'm not talking about Wainwright last year of the season. This is not that situation. I'm talking about Wainwright when he didn't have the velocity or he didn't have his stuff. He was able, because he was so good of a pitch maker, he was able to get around it because he could just fool you and change speeds and locations.
You know, the only concern I have with Sonny Gray is last year his fastball velocity dropped by about a mile an hour, and his fastball became very hittable. So if it was hittable last year at, say, 93 miles an hour, how hittable is it going to be at 92 miles an hour, 91.5 miles an hour this year? Mm-hmm. Now, he's a really savvy pitcher, to your point. He's got a lot of moxie. He can trick you, fool you, set you up, bait you, all that stuff. He's got that great sweeper, but even the sweeper wasn't quite as effective last year as it was in 2023 when he finished second in the American League Cy Young vote. So he will be a very resourceful starting pitcher, but I have to say though, there's a chance maybe he won't quite be as good as last year, even if he's tapping into all his resourcefulness. So we'll have to wait and see, because the fastball is important.
Yep, and pitching was not the problem for the Cardinals last year. Will be interesting to see how things end up working out this year. Really good bullpen. We'll see if that continues. I think the rotation is going to be really interesting too, because we're going to get to the middle of this month or next month, and they're going to go to 6 men, and who knows how that's going to work out. Generally, not a fan, but it could end up working out well for them, for this particular team. Real quick, got a few seconds. Tom Ackerman, first pitch breakfast Thursday morning. We still do have some tables available.
Yeah, it's from 8 to 10:30. Our program with Vince Coleman will be 8:30 to 9:30. KMOX.com/events. If you want to see Vince and I drink cocktails and talk baseball with you while you're drinking cocktails and eating food, we'll have a blast down there. He is one of the best dudes in the game. I can't wait.
And there is a promo code for 20% off when you're checking out. KMOX is the promo code at KMOX.com/events. That's Tom Ackerman, who's back with me tomorrow. Bernie Miklas, love you. We will talk to you on Thursday. Actually, you're going to be on the station tomorrow as well, but also on Thursday. So we'll see you soon. Bernie Miklas, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang. We are back tomorrow at 12 o'clock. But next, it is the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.